Welcome to the GnM Podcast with Max and Dylan. I started that off wrong, but that's all right. It should be GnM, so that should have been Dylan and Max. I don't even know what I'm doing. All right, so we're talking about self-acceptance and self-love. Are you able to tell me, is there a difference between the two?
I saw a video the other day, and it was really, really good. It mentioned how during your process of self-love, you're going through the motions, you're trying to create new habits, healthy habits, you're trying to break addictions, you're trying to do these positive things for yourself and set these goals. But what happens when you can't reach that goal? And what happens when you do go back to a bad habit? What happens when you slip and you relapse? Self-acceptance is realizing that the journey of self-love is in fact a journey. It's not something that you get overnight. It's not something that just all of a sudden, oh, I have self-love and boom, it's over, everything's peachy, everything's great. Self-acceptance is realizing that self-love is a process, and when you do mess up, accept yourself for being that. Accept yourself for being human. Accept yourself for being a person that's on a journey of self-love and that makes mistakes and that, relapses from time to time or has errors in judgment or, gives into certain urges or gives into different things. But also realizing that, hey, you made a commitment to yourself, right? But we're human. Right? So I think that's, in my opinion, that's where self-acceptance is a little bit different than self-love. Self-love is the idea of, really coming to love yourself in ways that I don't think many have even experienced. I think that we believe that the love we give or the love that we get in relationships is just incredible. And don't get me wrong, it is. But I don't know for sure if we've even experienced self-love in its fullest form, where, let's say, honeymoon love, all right? Honeymoon love is just fantastic. It's overflowing, it's love, it's lust, it's desire, it's all these things. And the high that you get off of that, I believe that self-love, I think we can attain that by ourselves, but it's a journey.
So actually, speaking on a honeymoon there, would you say self-love is, you're experiencing self-love in that, you just don't realize it? When you you're living a fantasy with somebody else?
That's a tough question. Perhaps we view love maybe in the wrong way. Maybe when we're in this honeymoon phase, maybe it's that we're realizing that they're bringing out qualities that we love in ourselves, right? And then we're thinking, oh wow, that's, I really love this person because they're so, loving to me. But at the same time, I think what ends up happening is that you both try to bring out the best qualities in each other. And those best qualities, sometimes maybe they click in your head and you appreciate yourself. That's a hard question.
The way to look at it. Is there that also we're lazy as human beings, our path of least resistance, and we just go down, let the external do the work for me and not do the work. Where if you do self-love, that involves doing work internally.
That's another good way of looking
at it. That's what
I'm
saying. Is we always look for the external, right?
We always look to the external.
In every aspect of life. You did scratch the surface there, but in a really good way, you summarized it really in a good way. Taking it down from explain to me like I'm 5 to explain to me like I'm 10 or 15.
Right.
Level there.
Well, and let's be honest with ourselves. Like, we're, for the most part, not mature. Like, I really do think that.
Never.
I think that maturity, you become...
As soon as I was 12 years old, I was mature.
Yeah.
Became a man.
But yeah, you're a man at 12.
Went on that trip.
But I really do think that. I mean, I see it in students too. I look at students coming through high school, and I think about myself at 18 and just really knowing nothing, and really the maturity was just not there at all. And even into my 20s, really not mature. Mid 20s, not mature. Late 20s, not mature. You know,
Well, we're running out of time here.
And yeah,
Catching up real quick to the current time.
That's right. So I would say within probably the last year, 2 years, I've slowly started to mature. But I really do think a lot of us are stuck just almost with our inner child, just in, you know, maybe that scared inner child that's just looking for love, looking for self-acceptance, looking to anything external to tell us, hey, it's gonna be okay, or hey, like, you're worth it, or hey, you're enough. And I think we get stuck in this loop of trying to find that from the external, and it's horrible, it's hard. And then when we don't get it, our whole life crashes, you know. So
actually, the way you bring that up, when you said it initially there, that would resonate with a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
With the addiction and the self-love. Like, that's how you define the self-love, and that's how you related it to a lot of people right there.
Oh,
in a sense they can understand.
Accepting reality, right? It's massive. It's huge. So, but yeah, I mean, like you said, we're all guilty of it. I mean, if you're not, I mean, congratulations. Like, and honestly, if you're not, you're obviously very conscious. You know, you obviously have a lot of self-love, and you're on a really good journey. And I mean, all the power to you. You know, I really do hope that and believe that, and right on, good for you if you're not, or you know, if you're at a stage where you're not doing things like that. But I know for me, I still struggle with many things. So yeah, but yeah, that's kind of going a little bit deeper into it. I'm not sure if you had any other questions with it.
No, that's perfect to you.
I mean, I think when I say inner child, it's that version of you that expected unconditional love. And as a child, if you don't receive unconditional love, which again, I mean, we can go into that pretty deep, but I would say if you weren't, you know, very conscious, and if you weren't addicted to anything, then you have a really good chance of giving your child complete, what's the word I'm searching for? Basically, to be able to give your child unconditional love, I do believe that you'd have to really not struggle the way we do. Like, I'm struggling for words right now.
So that sounds like something very hard to attain.
Yeah.
By the fact that, like, even for me, I'm trying to think of those words, that to even find those words shows you how hard that truly is to attain.
Yeah, I mean, but anyways, so as a child, if you didn't get that undeserved or unconditional love, that's another whole topic that we could talk about. This undeserved kindness that many religions use to describe us, but undeserved kindness, don't get me started on that one. But so you asked if the inner child and our childhood is related, and I think yes, they are. I think that if we don't get that unconditional love that we're always searching for, I think then we always catch ourselves searching for that. We're always looking for a mommy and daddy role model, or friend or support, in order to give us that self-love. And if we don't mature as we age, I think it's like our bodies mature. We become adults. We're allowed to vote. We're allowed to drink. We're allowed to smoke. We're allowed to do all these things.
Own property.
Own property. We're allowed to,
pay taxes.
Pay bills, yeah, exactly. We're allowed to do all these things. And yet, mentally, like, did we get the right training in order to mature mentally? I don't think that we're receiving the right training right now.
Enough to pay taxes, I can tell you that right now.
That's, I mean, enough to be worker bees.
And have self-love at the same time.
Can you be in a relationship and have self-love at the same time?
Yeah.
Yes, I think that that's more than possible. I think the norm is the opposite, though. I think the norm is that there's two people that don't actually have full self-love and that are trying to attain self-love through the external. And I also personally think that you can't have full self-love. And I get it. We're not accepting reality, accepting who you are, accepting what your limitations are, what your vices are, and working on those in order to improve your lives, in order to be the best possible version of yourself.